Yo, this is Sparing Myself the Pain, a rundown of all the negative things that I'll miss out on by being a marriage free and child free woman. Let's get into it. Painful thing number 18: juvenile delinquents. One thing that people don't seem to consider before deciding to have kids is the legal liability. And I don't mean just that you're legally responsible for, keeping them fed and clothed, making sure that they go to school. I mean that if they break the law, you could be held responsible for it. Okay, let's just say you have some kid who's 15, 16 years old, decides to go out and steal somebody's car with his friends. Okay, if they decide to sue him, they are suing you. He decides to go out there, oh, let's go and steal this $80,000 car, and then they end up crashing it. Of course, the owners are going to sue, and you will be on the hook for it. You will be made to pay whatever damages they win in court, and they 100% will win. And you could be dropped from your auto insurance. It doesn't seem like people take the responsibility of being a legal guardian seriously enough. They don't consider, well, like, the monetary damages that they might have to pay out if their kid does something that leads to a lawsuit. They don't consider what the home life will be like if that child is violent and has a horrible temper. If you have a teen, tween, whatever in the house, and they have these really severe anger issues, they're like throwing furniture, punching holes in the walls, tormenting and terrorizing their younger siblings. What do you do in that situation? If they cause a serious injury to one of the younger children, CPS can get involved. Teachers are mandated reporters. So, you have one of your younger children that's like 8, 9 years old going to school with a black eye or with, a gash across their face caused by an older sibling. Teachers have to report it. Okay, it's not something that you can sweep under the rug and ignore. So you have CPS involved in your house. Then you have court appearances to go to. And then on top of that, it's the fear for your safety and sanity after that. Because even if that problem child is removed from the home, there's always a possibility that they could get sent back, depending on how old they are. Now, if they're emancipated and sent into something like a group home, then sure, maybe that'll get them out of your hair. But if they are younger, 14 maybe, you might be forced to keep them in your home, and now you're struggling to, protect your other kids, protect your property, making sure that they're not breaking your shit on purpose just to be spiteful. There are people out here who have, what is it called? Like oppositional defiant disorder or something. It's something that makes them super aggressive, super difficult, and prone to violent outbursts. If they have bipolar disorder or something else, some sort of other mental issue that makes them super, super difficult. I don't know how I would be able to deal with something like that. Okay, if we're going to get super personal, I kind of grew up in a situation like this, in a household with lots of, yelling and screaming and throwing things and outbursts like this. Biological father, worst temper ever. Complete piece of shit. Now, my older sister, before her injury, again, horrible temper. My brother, horrible temper. So I kind of grew up around people like this who were like short fuse. Being in a household with people like that is really shitty. I'm a pretty laid back person, very chill, go with the flow kind of person. But when you're forced to live in a situation surrounded by violent people who respond to the slightest thing, the slightest inconvenience, the slightest annoyance by, you know, swinging or throwing things, that is a shitty, shitty situation to be in. And it's even worse for younger kids who can't leave. You know, put yourself in the shoes of, you know, a kid who is 5 or 6 years old. They've got a sibling who is, you know, 14 or 15 years old who responds to not getting their way by throwing chairs, breaking glasses, threatening to kill people, threatening to set the house on fire. If you have any imagination, then you can kind of imagine how terrifying it would be to a child who's that small. And it would be very unfair to them to keep that difficult child in the household, but you might not have a choice. So this is just another really hideous, hideous thing that I won't have to deal with. Remember, your life is yours to live, and you don't have to explain yourself